definitely a different way to do it, but I'm gonna do it this way. So normally I was doing it audio, and now I uploaded audio to WordPress, and the file format shows that for security reasons, it can't be uploaded, which basically all this is trying to make sure that you all, myself, everybody's protected. We don't get hit with a file format that may be malicious. And I get it, but whatever. And it's being a pain. It's being a pain in the ass. But without that, I was like, you know what? Okay. If I take that aside for a second, this might be a good opportunity to shorten it up a little bit, go really impromptu, even though I made notes and everything else, and just take a minute to do a quick little recording this way and put something out there. So, of course, I'm feeling a little bit of pressure for myself here to actually do something because I've been enjoying my time. I'm at home quite a bit here, taking some time off, and then work has been, it has been, I'll just say it that way. Like 2020, definitely a crazy year. I have been insanely busy doing multiple different roles. But anyways, I digress. So let me talk about what I was talking about originally in the podcast that I no longer had because I lost that audio recording. So basically, I wanted to have a conversation around Thanksgiving 2020 and what we're doing in this space. And so there's a lot of metrics, a lot of data that I supplied. Like for right now, we're actually nearly at 200,000 cases. I mean, this is crazy. 200,000 cases almost like how are we here? How are we here? It's the worst that we've had since this pandemic began. But it got me really thinking, like, what should we be doing when it comes to being responsible and having, let's say, like time with family? What is the appropriate way to do it? And so I want to have that conversation with you all. And so a couple of things that came to mind is, okay, the digital space versus the real life space. And thinking out loud here, look, I have to admit, like even I'm running a little bit of a risk. My family has decided my immediate family is going to go. We're going to go over to my brother's house with his immediate family. So that's two families. And then my cousin Chanel and her very small family, just her husband, her daughter, are going to be there. And we're going to have one of my wife's cousins come through. But before we do this, we're like, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make sure everybody goes and gets a COVID test in advance. But even then, we still have a 5-day buffer window where something could go wrong because today is Saturday, November 21st. Anything can happen within those 5 days. And so while my family's trying to do a really good job at quarantining, not going out, yesterday, arguably, right? Like you could see this as a hiccup. I went to Brazelton Brewery with my friend Jared and a great time. But the moment I walked in, the place was just fucking packed. And I was like, why are these people inside? Like North Georgia, do we not give a shit about anything? Clearly we don't. And so for me, I was like, well, I'm not going to eat in there, but I'll eat outside. And outside was definitely cold. It was a bit more chilly than I expected. I had on something like this, like a t-shirt, then I had on a hoodie over it. I'm still not quite warm enough, but it was still manageable. And anyway, so I'm just trying to think of like, what's the appropriate path here? So many people are really on the fence on this one. And I think like, I asked the question, are we acting responsibly here? And so I do know after we go to my brother's house, we are going to quarantine for 2 weeks just to be safe. My wife will be the exception to the rule there because she still has to go work. But for me, I'm going to stay home with the kids because, hey, guess what? My mother-in-law also got tested. She tested positive for it as well. So it seems to be all over the place. And I want to have that open conversation. Like, what could we be doing to really have an experience with family that we've missed, but then also be a bit responsible? And so it really brings me even to those digital elements, video chatting, right? Doing things like Google Duo, FaceTiming, prepping, like you could even like, I could cook a part of the meal. My brother's family can cook part of a meal. Then we just kind of like do just like little trade-off in the center. And even then, not everything is 100% safe. But anyway, so this is my way of just trying to keep moving forward in the podcast space. And one interesting thing I am going to do, and I know this has been on a tangent, but work with me here, is I decided, you know what, I'm going to go all in mobile. I usually use my Mac to edit everything. I have a 16-inch MacBook Pro, absolutely love it, 2019. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to try to go all mobile on everything and see how far I can push this. So anyways, there's going to be a lot to learn. There's definitely more content that I'm planning to make, but you're going to see some things here within the notes. And I'd be really curious, shout out at me if you don't mind on Twitter or even here. I'm really curious, how are you going to be hosting or working your Thanksgiving? What are some of your concerns and what are some of the safety precautions that you are taking? But anyways, without further ado, look, everybody, have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm a little sad that my audio didn't work out, that I worked so hard. I edited, it was like maybe like 23 minutes. Anyways, edited it, got it on point, had the music intro, the exit, and yet I have failed to get it up here. So is what it is. Anyway, let me know how your Thanksgiving is going to be. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. And I look forward to posting, especially more consistently here. 2020. But you know what? I'm that disappointed in that regard. But anyways, all right, everybody, without further ado, take care and I'll talk to you soon.